century of G1, otherwise known as cell growth, the country of plant cells grows and grows to a mature size. When the country has grown large enough, it is time to begin the century of S. Proteins that regulate this part of progress is called the cell growth checkpoint. The century of S begins, where DNA is synthesized and two identical DNAs are formed.
Peter DNA, you are chosen as first
No,
tribute.
my twin, don't volunteer.
Don't worry, we can do this together.
Finally, the century of G2 arises as the country of plant cells prepares for the cell division games. Most cells are not able to copy DNA and leave the cycle during the century of G0. The era of interphase includes these three main phases.
We are now in the era of mitosis, and the first stage you DNAs must go through is the training, which will be held by the membrane surrounding. All will be shortened and tightened into chromosomes. You, Peter 1 DNA, will now be called Peter 1 chromosome, and you will now be called Peter 2 chromosome, and you must stay together by the centromere.
Oh.
Yeah.
President Snow and Sneaker Crane are the centrosomes in our country of plant cells, and we don't have cell cells, however, have centrosomes that contain a pair of small clinical bodies called centrioles.
Then those soldiers next to them must be the connected core fibers, which attach to the protein called connected core to extend to the chromosomes. And the audience over there watching us must be the polar fibers, which extend across the dividing cell, but not directly through the chromosome.
Yep, they are both types of spindle fibers, radiating from the centrosomes and separated from metaphase.
Now, as a tradition of prophase, which is the first stage of the era of mitosis, we will take away the nuclear membrane surrounding you, which means they will break down and disappear until the era of telophase.
That means we're going to move towards opposite poles of the cell, and the spindle fibers are going to radiate from the centrosomes as they separate.
Now starts metaphase. Kinetochores, please gather all chromosomes to the center and hold them in place.
Oh my god, Peter 2 chromosome. I think it's time for anaphase. They're going to separate us, and we're going to go to opposite poles.
You're right.
Oh.
What? And then we're going to go through the era of telophase, where we're going to lose our power again and become less light.
Yep, and the spindle fibers are going back to the centrosomes. Oh, there comes our trainers, the nuclear envelope again. Wait. Cell wall forms from the cell plate, which will eventually divide the cells into two, and the cell division games will officially start.
That's right. I heard this is all part of cytokinesis, and in the country of animal cells, a cleavage furrow, which is an area of cell membrane that pinches in the cell into two cells form.
Finally, there is a mitosis checkpoint where the proteins will signal the cells to re-enter the century of G1. Also, though the cell division games, which is part of asexual reproduction, takes place in a eukaryocontinent, there is also a prokaryocontinent that holds the binary fission games, which includes the copying of DNA and the splitting of the cell into two identical cells.
Now, as soon as the wall separates into two and separates into two separate cells, let the annual cell division games begin. Happy cell division games, and may the odds be ever in your favor.